It's May of 1536. Anne Boleyn is in the Tower, and the machinery of her downfall is already grinding forward. We often focus on Cromwell's strategy or Henry's sudden coldness, but there's a little extra quiet moment tucked into a letter that hints at a more intimate betrayal behind the accusation. John Husee, writing to Lady Lisle, casually noted that the first accuser of Anne was the Lady Worcester and Nan Cobham, with one maid more. One maid more and Nan Cobham. Lady Worcester we can trace through family records, but what about Nan Cobham? She appears once in the surviving sources, and then she vanishes. That single mention is all we have of her. There are no surviving trial records naming her, no confession or testimony preserved in the legal papers. Whether the records were destroyed, suppressed, or never even formally written down, Nan's role exists purely in that one line of correspondence. And yet, she must have been close enough to Anne to have been called as a witness or been considered as an informant by Cromwell's investigators. And that makes her significant. In a palace full of courtiers, only a very small inner circle of women had the kind of access that could have been weaponized against the queen. So who was she? Well, my friend, settle in, get cozy, get comfortable, grab a coffee or some water, and let's talk about Nan Cobham and who she was. Hey friend, welcome back to the YouTube channel for the Renaissance English History Podcast. I am your host, Heather, and I've been podcasting on Tudor England since 2009 with my show, which makes it the original Tudor History Podcast. I am, as always, delighted, ecstatic, thrilled that you are here with me today talking about this mysterious Nan Cobham. Let's get into it. The nickname Nan offers the first clue. It was the familiar form of Anne or Agnes, but crucially, it wasn't how a titled woman would normally be referenced in official correspondence. Husee was writing to Lady Lisle, a noblewoman. If Nan had been a peeress, a legitimate Lady Cobham, he almost certainly would have written her title. That detail nudges us away from the idea that she was Anne Bray, Baroness Cobham, who was present at Anne's coronation and whose husband sat on the jury that condemned the queen. But the Cobham name still lingers around the edges of the court. The Brooke and Bray families, both tied to the Cobham title, had several female relations in and around royal service. A Mrs. Cobham is recorded receiving a New Year's gift from Henry VIII in 1534. And Anne Cobham, a widow, was later granted lands in 1540 after the dissolution of Sion Abbey. These could be the same woman or not. Tudor records rarely make it that easy. Now, some historians have tried to link Nan Cobham to a flesh and blood figure by tying her to Katherine Parr's household, because a woman by that name is listed among Parr's ladies in 1547. If that's the same person, it's fascinating. It would mean that Nan not only survived the political firestorm of Anne Boleyn's fall, but actually remained within the royal household through two more queens. That puts her in the same category as Jane Parker, women who cooperated with Cromwell's inquiry and were rewarded through continued placement at court rather than being punished. Then there's Rita Warnick's theory. In The Rise and Fall of Anne Boleyn, she suggested that Nan may have been Anne's midwife and therefore present during the Queen's final miscarriage, which some have speculated was, of course, a little abnormal. Warnick used this as part of a broader argument about rumors of deformity and witchcraft, but there's no contemporary source saying that Anne's pregnancy was anything but a lost male child. All of that stuff about deformity, things like that, came later. The midwife idea survives more because it's evocative than because it's well evidenced. Lots of theories. More grounded is the idea that Nan Cobham was simply one of the many lesser gentlewomen in Anne's privy chamber, women who were placed there through connections or marriage alliances or family favors. Ladies like Marjorie Horseman, who shows up frequently in correspondence around Anne Boleyn's imprisonment, show how much influence these chamber women could actually wield. Cromwell himself wrote to English ambassadors that Anne's own ladies could not contain what they knew, and that their words were damning enough to shake the king. Lady Worcester may have been the spark, but Nan Cobham, listed second, was part of the confirmation. An agreement, a repeated conversation behind closed doors could be enough to support the narrative that Cromwell needed. The fact that her identity is lost only sharpens the mystery. One line in a letter, a woman without a confirmed surname or title, but she stands in the shadows behind one of the most dramatic trials in English history. Her name surfaced once and then nothing, and unless some stray household role or an overlooked letter surfaces in an archive somewhere, Nan Cobham will stay that way, an unnamed witness in one of the most consequential whisper campaigns in Tudor history. So, my friend, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts about who Nan Cobham was? I know there's lots of theories out there. I would like to hear yours if you have one. So I also just want to point out, I'm wearing this really cool hoodie. It says Witch of the Court on the front. And on the back, I'm going to turn around and show you. There's this really cool image of a woman. It says Heresy and Majesty is what it translates to, and some cool symbols. It's part of my spooky collection over at my shop at tudorfair.com. It's only available through Halloween, of course. But this hoodie, I really love it because it's oversized. It's weighted a little bit. It's not super heavy. It maybe is like a pound and a half or something. It's just a little weighted, a little heavyweight, and it's really soft on the inside. It's like one of the softest hoodies I've ever owned. It reminds me a little bit of like a play on, my daughter has one of those comfort hoodies that's popular with the kids that's like weighted and super soft. And this kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, I'm going to be wearing it all autumn and, embracing my inner witch. But I have this whole collection on my shop, the spooky collection, like also this coffee mug. The Tudor Witch Society. Super cool. Look, he has a little collar on. She, the cat, has a little collar on with the Tudor rose. It's pretty fun too. So all of that is at my shop. There's t-shirts, there's a journal, there's stickers, cool stuff. So you can head over to Tudor Fair to check that stuff out if you would like to. And again, it's all print on demand, so it does take about a week. I ordered this on Saturday night last week, and I got it on Thursday. So, it takes a couple days depending on where you're shipping it to. It's not immediate because it's print on demand. All right. If you made it to the end of this video and enjoyed it, I sure would appreciate it. Press that like button. It helps feed that algorithm and get our content to even more people. And I hope that if I don't already have it, I earned your subscription to my channel where I put out content like this on the regular. All right, my friend, if you would like to continue watching content on Tudor mysteries, here's one on what happened to Amy Robsart. That's always fun to think about, I guess. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, you are deeply loved. I am so glad we share the planet with each other. You make the planet a better place, and I'm glad we got to spend this time talking about another Tudor mystery. Who was Nan Cobham? I will be back very soon. In the meantime, don't forget to drink your water. Bye-bye.